Hi, I'm Bruce Williams. I'm the CEO of the Greater Victoria Chamber of Commerce, and this is Chamber Chats. We're doing this, as always, from the studios of Czech Television in Victoria. I want to begin by acknowledging that I live and work in the ancestral territories of the Lekwungen-speaking Coast Salish nations, the Songhees and the Esquimalt, and it's our privilege and pleasure to live and work alongside them every day. These Chamber Chats are made possible by the support of Island Savings, a division of First West Credit Union, and by C-SPAN Victoria Shipyards. We're on Zoom. We're on everything, all these it's like, have you seen a live person lately? Obviously, the pandemic has changed our lives, and we are completely reliant on technology, even more than we were before that. We want to talk about that today with one of the leaders in technology, of course, that being TELUS, who is one of our chamber champions at the chamber. Marshall Berkin is the Vice President of Industry Solutions. He joins me now. Marshall, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Bruce. How are you doing?
How many of these have you done today?
This is my second, as a matter of fact.
It's a
light day. Yeah, but in terms of internal meetings, I've probably had 6 more Zoom calls for sure.
Yeah. It's been an interesting time, Marshall. We have all learned more than we ever thought we would about technology by necessity of all of this stuff. How has that sort of impacted stuff within TELUS, like the day-to-day things that people turn to you and your team looking for? What kind of a change has that been?
Yeah, there's been a significant amount of change. I mean, obviously, pandemic has disrupted everyone's lives, and of course, us being TELUS wanted to step up and help do our part. As a business and a organization that truly believes in social good. When we think about COVID response, some of the things that I'm particularly proud about is how the role of TELUS kept everyone connected during that really tough period of time, and continues to play a large role in that. And clearly, more than that, there's been lots of other things we've been doing. We're very proud of the TELUS Vancouver Island Community Board. One of the things maybe not well known, but I'm particularly personally proud of, and you'll understand this, Bruce, I mean, being a major individual yourself in volunteering, is we completely retuned the community board and provided emergency relief to the tune of $350,000 in Victoria to serve the most vulnerable parts of our community, a lot of the not-for-profit organizations that struggled during that time. And of course, the pandemic highlighted, an urgent need for us to find ways for everyone, regardless of status, economic status, to access healthcare. Certainly, mental health has become a major issue today, and so through that, we've worked with the Victoria Kool-Aid Society. We've launched our Kool-Aid mobile health clinic, powered by our TELUS Health team. Really a specially equipped clinic on wheels to provide trauma, primary medical treatments, mental health services, addiction support, and of course, COVID-19 assessments, testing directly those people who need it most. Some other things going on that we've been working on. Government of BC, as we know, launched the largest vaccine program in our province's history. And of course, TELUS provided all the technology, the call center staff, to work with the health authorities to help answer the calls and schedule those vaccination appointments. We had thousands of team members who personally stepped up to do this, even though it wasn't our core business, and not because there was an opportunity to make a lot of money. This was simply because it was the right thing to do. And last, this past summer, we've been working hard on continuing to invest in our technology, and we're investing $63 million in Greater Victoria this year, which is part of a broader investment plan targeted on our fiber and 5G right across British Columbia, to the tune of $13 billion to 2024. And really, that's also will help further the support of the province of the pandemic, which continues, unfortunately, as well as helping to drive and support the subsequent economic recovery I know we all would love to see.
Something about this too, that there was an immediate reaction. TELUS was very nimble. You mentioned the business side of this is one thing, and the technology, but this was necessary. I mean, the importance of all of this became very clear when we understood our reliance on technology. Small business, especially, who were not always in a position to say, yeah, I think I'm going to ramp up my technology next year because I've got lots of money for that. You guys stepped in to help them do that because small business, of course, is the backbone of our economy. So tell me about that, the small business stuff.
Yeah, the small business owners and organizations really, I think we all know they had a really tough time during the pandemic. They've shown incredible courage, resiliency, innovating and adapting to keep their businesses running, not only running, but finding ways to thrive in this new environment. But I think more than that, I think, there was lots of examples of trying to make a difference in society, being local and supporting their communities. And they've been hit hard, and, the owners in our community still need all of our support. It's unfortunately not over, and they feel the brunt of the impacts and the changes we need to make to keep people safe. In Victoria, our community-based marketing team has had specific promotions to support small businesses year round. And of course, always worth contacting our local sales representatives to find out what they are. Our fiber investments is truly a catalytic investment opportunity to support the economic growth, attract and retain investment, help drive and support talented workforce, especially as people are moving around our country in a different way, due to the pandemic, and, our ability to, attract that talent to move to Victoria, having strong connectivity and broadband and network capability is a key requirement for that. This year, most of our recent fiber upgrades in the community have really been in Saanich and Sydney, really to expand our broader fiber network on the island. And we're going to continue to make those investments along with our 5G investments to support our businesses and communities for the foreseeable future. One area I'm particularly excited about is a campaign that we've had now for a bit, as we call a hashtag Stand With Owners campaign. And for our second year in a row, TELUS is launching our Stand With Owners, a national campaign to champion Canadian small businesses as they continue to have to navigate this pandemic. So this year, we doubled our commitment by investing $1 million in funding, local advertising, and mentorship for small business owners. The program is really aimed at engaging small business owners directly, as well to encourage the Canadian public to support, engage, and stand with small business owners.
So again, that hashtag is Stand With Owners.
Absolutely, you got it.
Okay. We're not taking any steps backward through all of this. I want to talk about that next. On Chamber Chats today, we're speaking with Marshall Berkin, who is the Vice President of TELUS Business Solutions. And Marshall, you talk about all the activity that TELUS has done to support small business, well, medium and large business too, but the imposition of this new technology for everyone to access to make them on a more even playing field so that they can grow and achieve their fullest potential. It's like nobody can say, well, I'll just wait till this passes and then we'll go back to the way things were before. We're way past that, aren't we?
We are. I think the pandemic was really an accelerator. I think the digital transformation trends that we're seeing were already there, but I think what changed the most during the pandemic that I personally saw was the changing role of how people perceive technology, because they were forced in many cases to use it. And of course, that scale and digital transformation we've seen across all businesses, but in many cases we've seen that accelerated in small business. And some reports say that there's been as much as 7 years worth of acceleration that's happened over the past year. Some of the trends that are going on, the rise of cloud computing, all of those components are really the driving force behind the digital transformation that businesses are undertaking. And businesses of all sizes have been forced to digitally transform. And that includes us as TELUS. We're not immune by any stretch to the need to transform our own business operations. And I think leaders are all beginning to understand and appreciate the role that this new technology is playing in their company. Broader considerations around security and data protection in this new world, financial implications. And these are some of the things that we're highlighting and seeing. And if I highlight a few things we're noticing with, as businesses migrate to the cloud, I think the first around performance. I think there's a misconception that IT plays the only role in cloud adoption. But IT services themselves don't move to the cloud alone. Business data, finance, operations, other applications and functions are all moving to the cloud. So the decision makers that need to ensure that all aspects of their businesses have a seat at the table in terms of how businesses, adopt cloud technology. I think the other is, cost and future integration. I think the sooner businesses get in front of cloud adoption, as a team, the sooner they're going to seize the opportunity to be more adaptable, resilient, while managing costs. And of course, the key is driving greater value to our customers. The speed of execution. I think this is something that continues to amaze me. I say it every year. Technology change and how fast business is moving seems to get faster every year. And we're now seeing technologies like 5G starting to happen. And I don't know if for those who have new iPhones, you would see that we launched our 5G network here in Victoria a few months ago. And as we push on that with our mobile edge, data monetization and analytics, and all of these things are coming to life in the cloud. And many organizations are recognizing that the cloud is complex. It's way more complex than people expected. And managing access and the multiple networks and cybersecurity attacks, all of that is becoming way more sophisticated during the pandemic. Of course, because people are working remotely. So, these are just some of the things we're seeing, and I could probably go on for a long time, but I'll cut it there. But it's definitely an exciting time for all of us in the technology and business industry, because the change is really upon us.
Yeah, and I want to go back to what you said about fear and trust. There are people that are saying, I don't understand this. I need my grandchildren to help me out to understand this a little bit better. But it's funny that there's still people that have a fear and trust element with getting a vaccine, which is unfortunate because that's holding a lot of us and them back from being where we need to be. But it wasn't like TELUS and others would just say, here's the stuff, here's the technology, go at it. You were fully there to back people up on how to use this and integrate it in, because again, when you talk about the integration element, that's so important here for you to back people up when you put this in place for them.
For sure. That's one of the roles we've taken on is how our workplace and our capabilities provide our customers integration solutions, connectivity, cloud-based collaboration. But I think the key for us is, businesses need to make sure they're picking the right partners, and in this journey, because it is complicated, and you want to make sure that that as you rely on a partner to help you with your technology needs, that it's achieving your business outcomes, as we transform. And so we're very proud of the investments in technology we've made. We're very, very clear that security by design, reliability by design, privacy by design, these are key concepts that guide our investment and thinking within our organization. And we love to bring that to our customers.
And when you talk about that $63 million that's being invested in this region, whether it's a company the size of TELUS or a 5-person operation, it's still line by line. I mean, it's region by region, it's purpose by purpose. So that $63 million is not just thrown all at once at one thing. What does that look like, the rollout and the creation of that model based on that budget?
Yeah, so there's really, I think, 3 key areas that we're making our investments. I highlighted one already around our pure fiber network, but as well, really driving our goal to have the world's best connectivity. And that's something on our wireless network that we've had for a number of years and want to continue to maintain as we invest in our 5G. And that is, we want to have the fastest, most reliable 5G network in Canada. That is a clear goal for us. It's heavily linked with our TELUS Pure Fiber investments, and we'll continue to make those investments, because we know that not just for businesses, but for team members, family members, and consumers in general, that being connected is incredibly important, more important than probably even ever in the history of our country, and we want to make sure that capability is there for them to leverage. And it's really a core of our continued commitment to bring that connectivity to the communities around Victoria, around the island, around BC. We are very interested in being the technological backbone to help our economic recovery and strength well into the future. I think the other area we've been making investment that you may have seen is we're very excited about our TELUS Ocean, the building that we're developing downtown, and we're very excited about it being a hallmark property in the heart of downtown Victoria. It's a commercial-only building. That's not just the new home of our Victoria team members, but we really want it to be a key hub in Victoria's growing tech and innovation ecosystem, contributing to the region's growth, strength, culture, social vitality. And, as a Victorian, I'm pretty excited about bringing all of the great technology to that building as a showcase for everyone here.
It's quite a spectacular project. It really is. And we want to talk next, though. I just want to loop back on what you mentioned about what you in the past have referred to as the newest and latest industrial revolution, that is the 5G network. We're talking today with Marshall Berkin, who is the Vice President, TELUS Business Solutions. TELUS is also a chamber champion. I mentioned that before. You're one of the organizations that stepped forward in the greatest sense of community support. We're a nonprofit. What we do is on behalf of our members, most of whom are very small business owners. So you stepped in to make sure that we had the resources that we needed to carry forward and support those members. So thank you again for that. But 5G, you mentioned that a couple of times, and some that are kind of on the peripheral edges of technology may or may not understand the impact that 5G is going to have on us. So explain that to me just a little bit.
Sure. So 5G is the next generation cellular network that we're actively rolling out. I think what makes 5G particularly interesting is it's not just the next generation, that it has some very transformative capabilities tied and linked to another high tech or hot tech buzzword called IoT, or Internet of Things. And at the basic level, Internet of Things is a catch-all term for billions of devices that will be connected to the internet. And while that's not a new concept, we do tend to think of them as just smart devices that simplify our lives and automate our homes. For example, if you have a Google Home or a Fitbit, a Nest thermostat, then you're 100% an IoT users. I think what's going to change, especially with 5G, is that these devices are, individually helpful, but together, is really where the potential lies. And, all of these IoT devices need to be connected to the internet. And 5G is like a super highway that IoT will ride on. So that evolution is very much connected. So basically, the full potential of IoT won't be possible without 5G. 5G enables much greater speeds, at minimum 10 times and certainly greater than that. The devices themselves will be able to communicate and share data faster than ever. The number of devices connected, so that density of devices, will be able to connect, 1 million devices per square kilometer, where our current technology can truly only support a fraction of that. And in addition, not just the speed, but how fast that data, that what we call latency for where information is going from point A to point B and back again, that speed of that is going to enable all sorts of innovation. So if you think about smart cars, which is the one everyone loves to talk about, having the 5G network and high speeds and low latency is going to enable cars to talk to each other and back into the network at a pace, at volume that we've never seen before. The other component of 5G I think is really exciting is it brings something called edge computing to the table, which is really about bringing, computational power, data storage closer to the device location. So literally, we will have, this infrastructure right in the heart of the 5G network, and that will enable that real-time decision making, real-time reliability, resiliency that's going to be required for these, use cases such as I highlighted, connected car, and any other, critical use application, whether it be healthcare or other use cases that would use that technology. And I'm excited about the innovation that's going to happen. We're bringing this technology out, and we're going to see all kinds of small businesses and businesses in general find really interesting and unique ways to drive value for businesses, for industries, and of course for Canadians as a whole. And our objective is we really want to make sure that Canada on the world stage is set up for success to innovate and be successful on that global stage. And that's really the driving force for why we're investing so much time, energy, and money into launching this capability. Simple examples of how the technology can be used. If I use an example from a warehousing perspective, 5G and IoT will allow companies to use smart shelves, which can track when a product is running low, trigger an action, and of course keep the supply chain running smoothly and efficiently. And there's a million other examples like that, but it truly is a transformative technology, and I'm really looking forward to the future.
It's we could talk all day about this. You talk about this $63 million investment. That's just here, and it's a part of the billions that you're rolling out that's going to connect rural places and Indigenous communities that will have access to things that they didn't in the past. Connecting 1 million devices per square kilometer is just breathtaking. But, the whole thing speaks to the future, and you guys have been leaders of that all the way through. I know you've been on the leading edge of it, and we appreciate the clarity that you bring to this, because this kind of baffles a lot of us, but you put it in plain language that we can understand. So thank you for that explanation. Thank you for your leadership. And on behalf of all of us, thank you to your team at TELUS for what you're doing, not just for the Chamber, but for all of us who are TELUS clients. Marshall Berkin is the Vice President of Industry Solutions for TELUS Business. Marshall, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Bruce. Appreciate it.
And that's Chamber Chat for this time around. I'm Bruce Williams. We'll see you next time.